what is your system on how you teach like beginners? Are you following like some sort of itinerary, or are you just like kind of making stuff up along as you go? Or
I would say, yeah, I definitely like kind of have kind of gone with the flow and kind of just like come up with stuff like as I kind of like let's say I'm training one day and I'm like, oh, I felt like I messed up in this area. Then I'm like, oh, that would be a good lesson to reiterate to the beginners, because it's all like the basics, you know what I mean? Like the basics are 100% the most important thing.
Oh, for
like
sure.
I still feel like my 1-2 and like 1-2-3 like isn't as good as it should be or can be. And like I've been doing like a million 1-2-3s and
Right.
1-2s. And then yeah, like I've always kind of just like reiterated the things I've been taught by my Muay Thai coaches and MMA coaches, but like Johnny and AJ and all those guys. So yeah, I wouldn't. It's never been like anything too specific, but I've always kind of just done real basic things that I feel like whether you're just whether you want to fight or whether you want to be able to just train or spar or just defend yourself on the street, I feel like there's certain basic like principles and understandings that you should have. That's kind of what I try to follow.
Can you give me the first principle in your view of how you would teach someone to strike? Like, say if they had some training, can you pinpoint them to one thing that if they are, because my next question is going to be like, how does it feel to be in exchanges? But anyway, what basic principle or what is the most important for someone to say, take someone like head on in striking?
Yeah, so I would say it varies a little bit, like in every situation, because every fight's different. Height, size, weight, everything is different. But I would say things like you have to have a solid foundation. So you have to have balance, right? So your footwork or like your stance has to be good. You can't like be knocked over easily. You want to have solid defense. So you want to have a basic understanding of, oh, somebody's throwing at me, somebody's throwing heat. Okay, I can do these things to try to protect myself. So having an understanding of what you need to do to defend yourself. And then I would say understanding positioning. So understanding the range, understanding how far you are from them and what that means, and how close you are to them and what that means.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like in terms of like a street fight or anything, just like understanding the situation,
Right.
like, oh, am I going to get jumped? Oh, is this dude going to pull a knife on me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all those things kind of matter. But I would say, yeah, if I'm going to stress one point to somebody who's going to fight somebody, I would stress like keeping their balance, because if you throw a punch and then you're out of position, you're out of your stance, or like you end up throwing a punch and now you're all the way over here, like you put yourself in a bad position. So you always want to, whatever you're doing, you always want to have a solid foundation and a solid base so you can do whatever you need to do.
So that must mean that when you're personally fighting someone, you try to get them off balance, right? Because if so facto.
Yeah.
And how do you do that personally for you?
Yeah,
like
so-
if that's your most important thing,
Yeah.
that you have advice to give to someone, how do you get off someone balance counterintuitive?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm still trying to fully master that and get better at that. But I would say things like feigning, things like, like feigning. So somebody throws a punch and maybe they extend a little bit more, and then you counter off of that. Understanding what strike they're throwing and how to counter that. So let's say somebody's throwing a jab, right? If I'm gonna parry it, that means they're gonna, they're gonna come into my range and we're gonna be standing right in front of each other. But if I were to step back, then that means I'm a little bit farther away now, and now I can do something like a kick or try to do different things like that. So I would say number one for me would be feigning. I would say feigning to get somebody to overcommit on a shot, or either shell up or do something to keep their mind off of what you're really trying to throw, or just throwing light shots. So maybe you just touch somebody with the jab. They think you're gonna, throw a 1-2, but maybe you throw a 4 or a 2 to the body or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like misdirection.
Yeah, that question was actually more for myself.
Yeah,
just
for
because,
sure,
dude, like I'm 5'5". How tall are you?
5'9",
5'9". Yeah, and the majority of the people that I'm gonna go with, like even Jamesy's taller than me.
Yeah.
By like 2 inches.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And the majority of the people that I go with, and this is going to be advice to like shorter fighters, but then it's almost like, yeah, I understand the concepts of like feint and maybe taking an angle and stuff like that. But damn, it's so difficult.
Yeah, for
Your
sure.
attributes do matter.
Yeah, 100%.
I understand the concept of like jiu-jitsu when they're like, it's just about technique.
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
just,
yeah.
Dude, if you know how to use your strength properly,
no,
you have attributes like.
It is technique, but it's also not all technique.
Dude, if you have long legs,
Yeah.
like your ass, when you get, I'm like, dude, fucking.
Dude, I know, dude. It's like, it's so funny because it's like, I have long legs, and it's like I go with people who are like my size or shorter, or like smaller, and then it's like I can easily like wrap up a body triangle, and it's so hard to get out of. You're actually really good, dude. You honestly have one of the best back defenses out of anyone, because dude, it's so hard to finish. Bro. But like you'll always find a way to get out of it. Dude. But like when I'm going with somebody who's like smaller or my size, dude, I can just cinch the body triangle.
Crazy,
up.
Dude.
But like if I'm going with somebody who's bigger, it's like, dude, I can't even wrap my legs around you. Like, how am I gonna do this?
So. That's really good, because that brings me up to like my next point, right? I noticed that you started, I don't know if it's a subjective point of view or this is just you learning from the fight that you were supposed to have to rematch. What was it, his name in Tough Enough?
Tracy Love.
Tracy Love. Okay, so I was at that fight.
Yeah.
Right? And I noticed that pretty much the whole time he had you in a body triangle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, that's just a terrible... It looked exhausting as fuck, honestly. I was like, oh, dude. Like, is that why you... I mean, I guess the body triangle is like a staple move.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
then is that why you started implementing that in the practice? Yeah.
100%. And like I've always kind of worked my back defense and my back. I feel like my back attacks and like escapes have always kind of been like a little bit more of a strong point for me in jiu-jitsu. I've never been too good at like, like front headlock stuff, right? Yeah. I'm getting better at it, but like I feel like I've always been kind of solid in like in the back area. But yeah, after that fight, I was just like, man, this guy was just able to hold me in a body triangle. That's all he really did.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So it's like, man, if you can just get to that position, it's like you can just burn time and just win any fight. So I was like, I really got to go to the well on that and get better at that. And also the credit to him, like he was good at holding it. But
for sure,
I think this time around, like I'm just so much better in that area. I don't think I think there's very few people who can hold me there for as long as he did now at this point in time.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I just really learned from that, and like you said, that's like one of the staples in MMA. Like that's like a real strategy nowadays. It's like you look at someone like Aljo, it's like, oh,
that's what
I'm not going to take you down and hold you down and use all my strength. I'm going to take you down and then immediately get on your back, and now I'm holding a body triangle. I can punch you, I can choke you, I can do whatever I want. So the back escape is like kind of, or the body triangle is kind of like an evolution in MMA. I feel
it really is like it's just a subtle nuance. And then coming back to that point, it's just Jerry, our jiu-jitsu coach. This guy, he's short like me. Yeah. And dude, when he cinches a body triangle, somehow he cinches it.
Yeah,
he showed me.
Yeah.
He takes like an angle.
Yeah.
And even still, I try to do it, and I'm sure it's just repetitions and stuff and doing it from a very long time. But then, dude, he cinches a body triangle. He gets it in your sternum.
Yeah.
Dude, not to be a bitch or anything, but I want to tap.
No, dude. Same,
like, dude, come on, dude. Like, or I'll just like casually just give him my neck. I'll just be like, oh no.
Oh no, no. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But yeah, man, you're right, dude. You're right. That's like, that's kind of a light bulb, because it is even something simple like that's been around for a while. It's evolving.
Yeah, for sure.
It's evolving. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you can win matches like that.
100%. And also too, like Jerry always gets that on me, and it's like, oh, dude, this like hurts worse. I almost feel like it hurts worse because like he doesn't have such long legs, so like when he does it, it's like it feels even more, and I'm like, oh dang. And then also like Dimitri too, he's like tapped me with just like putting pressure on a body triangle. I'm like, dude, like. Sheesh.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny because we'll joke around in jiu-jitsu, and then Jerry or Shane will be like, all right, guys, don't tap to like, what is it? Like just
like
being smothered.
Tapping.
Pressure tapping. It's like, bro, like that sounds,
it sounds
like,
easy
it
until
sounds
you go
easy.
with somebody who's really good.
Exactly. If Shane like mother milks you or something.
Yeah, dude, what are you going to do? What are you going to stop him? You're going to stop him?
Exactly. If that was real shit, if that was real shit, right?
Yeah.
And, I want to talk about that too, because if that was real, right? If like I was going against you, Shane, or some average guy that didn't know. And
Yeah.
we've always been in this circumstance. I brought this up in the podcast before, listening to the Joe Rogan and Farab Zahabi fight.
Yeah.
And they were talking about some guy that was like had a bad day at the plane, and then he was like just cussing fucking Faraz Zahabi
Yeah.
out. And the things like he was saying that the things that I can like do to
Yeah.
you without that guy knowing, it's just their emotions getting in the way, and
Sure.
they have no idea
Yeah,
what
for sure.
it feels like to go against like a trained guy.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess if you're trained, you just that's the beautiful part of it, is that you kind of know what you could do.
Yeah.
And obviously, the consequences that come with that
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
get involved in that.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fuck around and find out kind of
Fuck
thing.
around and find
it's like,
out.
It's like I mean, like, I'm not perfect either. Like, I'm sure I have my delusions where it's like, oh yeah, I could beat that guy's ass. But like in reality, it's like, it's a little bit harder than that.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, if you really don't know, like if you really haven't been in there, it's like your mind will just like, cause I've gone with dudes who are like almost 100 pounds bigger than me. They're like, dude, like, you just like, you're 100 pounds less than me and you just manhandle me. I'm like, it's kind of how it works. Like, it's kinda like, like I've kind of been training like way longer than you. Like,
It's so primal, especially for guys, right? It's so primal to think that, yeah, of course your ego is going to start talking because we're guys.
Yeah,
I get it.
for
I don't blame them really,
Yeah.
but what they see on TV and stuff like that. But dude, it's like doing anything else. If you're good at basketball, if I was going against fucking, some like Division I player. Yeah, I'm gonna get my ass handed to me, no matter how much I could think playing basketball.
yeah.
But for some reason in fighting, I think everyone just thinks they could do it.
Yeah.